All right, everybody, welcome in to the Jim Brown episode 32 of the Mark and Brown Show. I am your host, Jacob at Roachism13 on the Twitterverse, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Nick Carnes at Carnesies817 on Twitter. Nick, how we doing tonight, my man?
Hi. I know
we're tired.
I just want to address that this eye is infected, so you are not mistaking. We got two different eyes here, and so we're gonna bear through it.
For all the people that are like, well, I don't know what he's talking about because they're only listening in audio form. Nick has one eye that is slightly more closed than the other one. You can tell that it is. Is it allergy? Do you have bad allergies?
Nah, it's sty.
Oh yeah, I actually had one just fall off one of my eyes.
Oh damn. Okay, well, you know what? There are so many, and we were talking a little bit about this. There's so many directions this show can go in, and
so many.
Oh boy. You know what? I'm not really sure. I don't have a set plan as to where things are going to go. You know what? A lot of that just happens organically between our conversations. So I feel like we're just going to see where it goes. And hopefully we come out the other side feeling better than we do right now.
So this is what I think overall. We will get producer Ed on in a second. He'll help run down some of this stuff for us, guys. So fire those Twitter questions away, the YouTube, the Facebooks, all the things. If you got some questions or got some comments, just fire them away. I wanted to take a quick chance to say thank you to everybody that has supported me. I've recently cracked over the 3K. I feel like a big shot on the Twitters, and I'm so grateful to be able to talk to you guys every week. As always, I say the most valuable thing you can give anybody is your time, and you've chosen once again to give some of your time to us. I am eternally grateful for that. Thanks for the likes, the comments, subscribes, all the patronage on the Patreon. I put an article up about how the wide receivers stink over the weekend, and maybe that's a little foreshadowing to something I'm going to get to in a second. And we write articles there and do some t-shirt giveaways, and we've got some giveaways coming up in the next couple of weeks to the Patreon members exclusively. $5 a month, lots of cool perks, including our private group chat where we do things like make fun of Roger for being a Michigan fan, but who's laughing now? Anyway, let's bring him on. Let's bring on the amazing, the one and only producer, Ed. Ed, what do we got going on tonight, man?
What's up, guys? We've got a great show like always. What's up, Nick? What's up, Jacob? But I want to have a special announcement. We have a new arrival, a new Browns fan today. Baker Thomas Pringle has been born today, so there might be two Bakers pooping on Sundays. That's a joke. Don't take me seriously. Just saying. So welcome to the world. Welcome to Browns Nation, and congratulations, Kyle and wifey. Baker's doing great, and we saw the pictures on Twitter, so go to Kyle.
Can we cut that up as the promo that there might be two Bakers pooping next Sunday?
Oh man.
Oh, we're on that one. Some people say I don't do any kind of a job or anything like that, so I will make that happen for you, Jacob. But yeah, we got a great show. Yeah, fire those Twitter comments to me. I see Dan's already chiming in, thinking Nick's got pink eye. That is not true, whoremouth. That is not true.
No pink
Victoria or Victor says, "What's up, boys? Bounce back week for Bake and Joku contract ink was better be drying because we feel that he played his part. That was a great catch. And you know what? I got to ask you guys, boys, a question here. That touchdown throw that Baker threw to Njoku, that ball, that never hit the ground. I don't care what different angles that we saw that. I believe that it
hit his leg.
Yes, it hit his leg. And then because there were some people on the radio, I won't mention his name, Aaron Goldhammer, that kept saying that the ball hit the ground. That is not true. I know people call me an apologist for him, and then I have to disagree with that. That was a great catch by the Chief, David Njoku. So fire those Twitter comments away. We got a great show coming. This is therapy. Go Browns. We're not done. Mathematically says, we're in this thing. Let's roll.
They did rule it a touchdown. So I mean, are we really gonna split hairs over
Goldhammer is? Yeah,
that's what we're gonna discuss.
That's what we're.
I am not. That is a touchdown Browns. That was a great play.
Touchdown.
Ed, we love you. We'll talk to you in a little
Thank
bit,
you,
my
Ed.
man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Like that was a lot of fun. So this is what we want to do tonight, guys. Like I said it the other day that I had no desire to talk football. I needed a couple of days to kind of, and I talked football today and some things. And I think it wasn't that the Browns necessarily broke me as much as my Super Bowl hopes got broken. I still will watch them every week, but right now this team isn't the team that played on Sunday offensively isn't beating anyone, period. I just 10 points. I just don't see it. I guess we won a game where we let up 7 points. So I guess that mathematically is possible, but because I've reevaluated and I'm just going to root. I am truly going to take the rest of the season 1 week at a time. And I think that is the most positive and optimistic outlook that I can give you. Charlie from Panama weighing in, our good friend Charlie Bald. How you doing back down there? He says, how are you guys doing? I'm doing great.
Charlie.
It's good to see you, Charlie. Always good to know you're tuning in and joining along with us. So what we want to do tonight, our good friend Cancel Anime, he just weighed in. How you doing, my friend? Always here. Always good to see it. Guys, I want to talk about the negative first. I want to talk about my rants. I want to talk about what I think and the good, the bad. So I'm going to defend some people on the offense, and I'm going to tear apart some people on the offense. But I think, and I hope you guys agree, and I'll ask Nick here to see how he feels. I think we focus on the bad right now. We get it out. MC Lawrence needs to know if that is an infection or if Nick ran his mouth to Evita and she took care of business.
Yeah, you know, Evita told me back talk was the backhand. There it was.
She took care. She ain't taking none of Nick Carn's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. So this is the way I think I would like to do it. We talk about the negative. We talk about the bad. We get that stuff off of our chest. We move on to the good. And then we have some fun with some jokes as well as some my crazy weird scenarios down at the end. Side note, I did want to remind everybody next Tuesday, December 7th, 8 p.m., the Barking Browns Dog Chug mashup extravaganza. We are linking up with our friends Roger and Andy over at the Dog Chug, as long as with our producer Ed in Columbus, who helps produce on that side, as well as Ross, who produces on that side. We're all going to come together for a giant episode. We're just going to have fun. I made up a cool game today. I haven't shared it with the group yet. They kind of know the premise. We're going to play games. We're going to laugh. We're going to have fun. And we're going to not think about the bad of the season and just have fun and have some laughs. So please join us next week for that. But Nick, all around my overview of the show as well as the mashup, what do you think?
Well, we're going to free Ed is what we're going to do. And he's going to finally get the respect that he deserves. So that's something that we are building. And you can look, there will be a video on that leading up to it. But I like the plan here. It's probably a good time as any to just get the negative out of the way, because I think anytime you force 4 turnovers, you should win the game. And the Browns did not win the game, so we probably should dig into why.
4 turnovers, 16 points, less than 200 yards passing.
I know I shared this after, but I looked it up, and that is the most interceptions Lamar Jackson has ever thrown in a game in his NFL career. 16 points was the second lowest total. Well, it tied for the second lowest total that the Ravens have scored this year. And that was, I don't remember the stat, but the Browns have held a lot of opponents under 17 or fewer this year.
Yeah, I can get that. Well, I think Ed, are you doing that? Are you checking that? Okay, yeah. He says he'll get you the number.
So, okay, well, thank you, Ed. This is why Ed is great and why we need to free him. But so anytime, if you just said, okay, the Browns force 4 turnovers, they hold the Ravens to 16 points.
Do you want to hear some statistics of the Ravens offense?
Yeah.
I've got them up, so I'll rattle them off as you're saying it. 16 points. They only mustered 303 total yards, did the Ravens, 155 passing, 148 rushing. They averaged 3.9 yards a play. They were 7 of 15 on third down. They only had 22 first downs. They were sacked twice, had 5 penalties for 54 yards, and threw 4 interceptions, and they won the football game.
You know what? I gotta say, I am so tired.
What?
of watching our fellow teams in the AFC North find ways to win games they have no business winning.
The Browns defense, 7 games this year where they've allowed 17 or fewer.
I can't. Thank you. So I mean, you're starting to see a defense. You know what? And you know,
that's a
bad on me. I was ready to throw Joe Woods to the curb, and here the defense is playing damn well. I lost what I was gonna say. I'm sad.
It's okay. Cancel Anime weighs in here. The only person on the offense who gets a pass, in my opinion, is David Njoku. I don't remember dropping a single ball, and he made an incredible touchdown. I agree. David Njoku needs paid. I would also argue that Joel Bitonio had a hell of a game. But in terms of people on the offense that make plays, yeah, it's probably David Njoku is about the only one. I don't necessarily blame the running backs for not having a good game. We're going to get into that a little bit. But, yeah.
I just want to say, it's like we all watched on national TV as the Steelers beat the Bears, and they had no business beating them. We watched on now national TV, the Ravens beat the Browns, and in my opinion, they had no business beating them. And I think for years it's been both of those things, is that the Ravens and Steelers constantly find ways to win games, even when it's ugly, right? And the Browns have won ugly, but I don't think they've really done it at all this year. Whereas last year we saw a lot of that, I thought, and it really convinced you that like it gave you a lot of reasons to think that this is a different Browns team. And you know, here we sit in even 500, and everything is so different this year. And I really am having a hard time understanding why.
I think it's expectations, because you came out of nowhere last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you also had like an excuse last year in the sense of like the defense was bad. It didn't have talent, right? It didn't have talent. You didn't have expectations. You went into the year going, well, maybe we figured it out, and you won a bunch of games. And like, that was great. And then all of a sudden this year you have the same, for all intents and purposes, the same offensive staff. Well, I'm sorry, personnel, well, staff as well, but the same offensive personnel out there. You know, you had, I mean, who did you add? You added Demetric Felton. He doesn't have a big role. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody who's new on the offense, you know what I mean? In terms of playmakers from last year, and they've taken this massive step backwards, and it's infuriating. So let's get into some of this stuff. Charlie asks a question. We got a question. Hold on. We got a question over here on Twitter. I just saw Dan wants to know if Dearness would be more effective than Felton and Natson on special teams. I think they just value him more as an emergency running back and don't want to risk him getting injured on special teams.
I mean, he's been so good, you know.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Is it's more of a like, not that they're the best people, but like, we're willing to risk them on special teams, where I don't think they're willing to risk Dearness necessarily. Jarvis had a good game receiving. He had a pretty good game. Other than this week, though, he's been bad. I'm wearing a Bless Him t-shirt, but like, we're going to get into some of that stuff. What about the receivers running the same routes, the wrong ones from Ed? Yes. Yeah, we are getting there. We're definitely going to get there. Charlie said, guys, is the only way going to the playoffs by winning the North. Yeah, because they've lost every game against the AFC outside of the division,
all of them,
other than what Denver. Denver's the only one that they could potentially, that is potentially in a wild card race that they have a tiebreaker on. Before that reason, the only way they're making it to the playoffs is a wild card. Jarvis had a good game. I wouldn't call it a great game. but he was the only wide receiver because he did have some drops and stuff. And I see Cancel Anime weighing in about that they did have some drops. So he had 100 yards. So like you got to call that good. I don't think he was great because I don't think anybody on offense was great on Sunday. Cancel Anime says Joe Woods didn't blitz. He did blitz, but he didn't blitz more than he usually does. But there were some all-out jailbreak blitzes he threw out of Miami style that were successful, including the one that should have been successful that resulted in a desperation heave to Mark Andrews that I just went, of fucking course he made it. Like I was just like, there's the play. There's the one play against the Browns that Lamar makes that he shouldn't make. Yeah. And that is what they'll win on. And they did.
You know what? It reminded you of when they had Patrick Mahomes dead to rights week 1, and he just heaved it up there.
And John Johnson was turned around.
Yeah. And just that changed the whole game. But you know what? A little foreshadowing here as we get into, the struggles of the Browns. I think that, based on our quick conversation before the show, you and I are going to disagree on the main culprit of the offensive struggles. And I'm kind of excited because it feels like a lot of times we're on the same page. And so I'm definitely interested to debate and see where this goes.
Okay. Well, let's set that up. Let's skate around the subject a little bit and then we'll get into it. Cause we definitely disagree, I think, to the degree, although I'll say this, like, I know what you're saying and I'm not saying you're wrong. I like, you know what I mean? Like, I just maybe I put a little bit more. Cancel Anime says the drop that haunts him the most was the DPJ one on the first drive. I've heard that a lot on the internet. I tend to agree because it really kind of set the tone of missed opportunities. Yeah. I mean, Baker fumbles a screen pass that Kareem's probably still fucking running, if we're being honest. Like, go back and watch it. I get it. Like, he double clutched because it didn't get open fast enough. So I'm not mad at him for the double clutch because if you actually go watch the play again, you see why he double clutched, but then he fumbled and you're like, fuck. And like it hurts because Baker's giving it everything. He just can't right now, I think is the biggest thing. He just can't. So let me say this. This is what I want to say. Well, you know what? Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first? Because I think we're going to get into this is where we'll start. Stefanski is taking a lot of blame right now for play calling. And I have a little bit of an issue with that. And this is why. Is he perfect? No. I still can't figure out why Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb aren't on the field at the same time. Like, that seems, especially because it's not like you have some really great wide receivers that you don't want to take off the field because they fucking stink. So, like, you don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you had, Julio Jones in his prime and Megatron in his prime, like, you don't want those guys off the field. There ain't any of those dudes on this team. So I don't know, like, Kareem's better. Kareem is probably the most talented catcher of a football consistently because I think DPJ has a lot of potential on the team right now. Like, I would wind him up at receiver before I put Jamarcus Bradley out there. Like, put him at receiver and Chubb in the backfield, man. I don't know. Like, and I get it that he was kind of on a pitch count. Let me see if I can find it. 23 total snaps on Sunday. So, like, I get that aspect of it. So, but people are saying, why didn't you run the football? There were 7, 8, and 9 people in the box on damn near every. They put 9 people on the box more than a couple times. I cannot remember, and the all 22 is not out, so I can't see it. I will definitely check, weigh in towards the end of the week. And you guys, once I see the all 22, I usually put something out. And if you got any questions about what I saw, or that you give a shit about what I saw, just let me know. So I don't know. I have to see it. But I cannot remember there being less than 7 people in that box at any point.
And that's the thing. It's like I come out on the same page here too. It's like people are like, well, why didn't you run the ball? Why didn't you run the ball? Because
they were averaging 2.9 yards a carry.
The run's not working. They're stacking to make sure it doesn't work. And the Ravens' pass defense has been terrible. Kevin Stefanski, in my opinion, is making the right call to pass the ball. The problem is the execution. If they're giving you those kinds of numbers, they're saying that you are so bad at passing the ball that even if they give you a significant advantage, you still won't be successful. And the Browns proved them right on that night.
I heard it said during the game, and once again, I would have to go back and like actually, try to. Somebody's probably already documented this, and I could probably find it. Do you realize, like, at no point did they put a safety deep? Just about no point. There was no fear. There was literally zero fear. Guess what? That is the perfect opportunity. You don't even have to throw bombs. Throw 15, 20-yard routes. Stuff like what they did to Jarvis on one of the prettiest passes all night. That was that huge gain that he just throws with anticipation and just floats it out to the open zone. But we didn't get many of those. They fucking dared us, and we couldn't call their bluff.
I'm going to throw out, so a lot of people, anyone on Twitter has already seen the replay Jake Burns put out where there are 3 different receivers open. Baker double clutches it and takes a sack and doesn't get to anyone. I'm going to throw that out, okay?
Which one?
The Jake Burns tweeted a play where Nick Chubb leaks out of the backfield and is open, and there's 2 receivers that are crossing that are both open at various points. Baker double clutches it as he's looking down the field and takes a sack instead of gaining anything.
For whatever reason, I just can't visually remember the play. But okay, go ahead.
So Jake puts that out there, and like Garrett Bush made a big thing of it, and a couple other people took it and ran with it, and so I'm going to throw that out completely. So let's say that doesn't even exist. We have all seen Baker take Brashad Perriman, who has had basically zero success anywhere else, and turn him into a significant contributor. And we have seen Baker consistently through his career already throw guys open, even when there's tight windows. He's been one of the best tight window throwers of the football, especially early in his career. And so people are saying, well, there's no separation. There's no separation. The receivers aren't getting open. Even if that's the case, and so like Jacob said, the all-22 isn't out, and I haven't gotten a chance to see all the film and go back and look to see, kind of more evidence of which way the balance is leaning. But regardless, even if the receivers are not getting open, we've seen Baker be tremendous at throwing guys open or throwing to spots and have that ability. And so to watch, when the Browns were down 3 and they get the ball back, they go 3 and out.
Which time?
So there's
sorry, I had to.
There's 2 final possessions at the end.
Yeah.
And the second to last one, when the Browns went 3 and out, that Baker threw 2 passes, both of which were like 5 yards away from the nearest receiver. And to me, that's where my frustration lies. It's like Baker is not even giving his receivers a chance to catch the ball. And I understand if there's and on those plays there was tight coverage, but it's like you can't you can't just throw it out of bounds. You have to try to complete a pass. We've seen you have the ability to do this, and so you said something earlier that I didn't get to comment on, but it's like they keep saying he's right. They keep saying he's right. He's not. Baker's not right. I understand that, and maybe that's why he can't do what we've all seen. But stop. Who are you? You're fooling no one. Like what is this palm dog and pony show of Baker's the healthiest he's ever been this season or since week 1? I'm so tired of that nonsense. Just
it happens every week, and somehow I fall for it every week. I'm like, oh hell yeah.
I don't understand that.
I'm like embarrassed that like I got so pumped up thinking that when a report came out, because it's just not.
Like,
It was just not
do
factual.
you think people are blind as this dude's like stumbling back to the huddle after he takes a run?
Have you seen the video of when he goes over to dap up Lamar after the game and he's limping?
No, I didn't know.
Like
But
there's you know how they like go
Yeah.
over and shake the hands and stuff like that. And he's over like, you know, because they're, you know, they battled for Heisman's together. They, you know, they went through the draft process together and, you know, and things like that. But he's like, it hurt me to watch him walk after the game. He's not playing, you know, he takes like 4 steps and it hurt me to watch. Like,
But
what are you proving? You're hurting the team.
And he's hurting himself. You know, people are saying he's being selfish or whatever. Dude, he's costing himself tens of millions of dollars at this point. Easy.
Yeah.
So I want to conclude what I'm trying to say with this whole Baker thing. And so maybe he, like, even if he's hurt or whatever, no matter what the case is, you have to give your receivers a chance to catch the ball. And on so many plays, it's like the ball's not even close. And I don't know if that's because he's afraid to take a risk, if he's afraid of throwing interceptions, if he just can't place it well. But when you don't even give a guy a chance to get a contested catch, you're not going to be successful. You're never going to move the ball that way. So to me, I look at the receivers and I look at Baker, and in the balance of why the pass game is abysmal, I'm placing more on Baker because he won't even give the guys a chance to have an opportunity to make a play with a lot of his throws. That's my perspective.
Okay, and I'm going to disagree with you. I see a bunch of comments and questions, guys. I want to roll through this real quick with my reaction to that, and then we'll catch up. We'll be just a little bit behind. I apologize, but it's fresh, right? It's fresh. Okay, I know what you're saying, and you're not wrong. So I want to start it that way of like, oh, I'm not, you know what, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, oh, no, fuck you. My opinion is right. I'm a 60-40 guy. Okay. I'm 60% the receivers and the offensive line, and 40% Baker. So let me tell you some pass blocking grades from Sunday, just for a little bit of perspective. Joel Bitonio, an 89.5. I'm here to tell you that was the only one that was passing. Okay, so he had an 89.5. Your next best on your offensive line, because actually Austin Hooper had an 82 in pass blocking, which was like really good. Jed had a 64. Wyatt Teller had a 64. JC Treader. Oh, I'm sorry. JC Treader had a good game, 85. He had an 85, but a 53 run block. Jack Conklin, a 65. Blake Hance, 25. He had a 25 pass block. So I would like to point out, and that was in 50 snaps, which 36 were pass blocking. I would like to point out that one thing that I think we're getting caught up in is we keep saying that our offensive line is great, and if it was healthy, I think it would be. It would be if it was healthy. It's not. Jack Conklin, I'm hearing that most people it's 10 to 12 months on that type of injury, and he may never. It breaks my heart. Injuries make me sick for any team, and this just it breaks my heart. I put that was my one thing I put out today, right? It was like, so you have a combination. It's a perfect storm of suckage, okay? And what I mean by that is right now, the right tackle spot is a turnstile. It has been. We got Conklin back. We were stoked. He had a 65 grade in 10 snaps, 7 of them in the pass. And then we go back to Blake Hance. I love Blake Hance. He's just not a tackle. He's a guard. He's working his ass off, but he is not. OA made him his bitch. I don't know what you want me to say other than that, to be honest with you. It's a perfect storm right now. The receivers aren't open. I get that you're saying, hey, give him a chance. Okay. So what I'm saying is the receivers are not open, making him hesitate, and the offensive line is not protecting him. That causes a perfect storm. That, to me, puts 60% on the supporting cast and 40% on the quarterback. Has the quarterback been good? No, he's inconsistent, wildly inconsistent. Because Cancel Anime even brings out a good point. He said Baker did make them pay a few times. He did. He had some good passes. His receiver dropped one on the first drive in DPJ. I know there was more drops, but I'm just talking strictly on deep shots that are coming. Like I said, I got to see the film again to really dive into it more. I think somebody somewhere has told me 5 or 6 drops is what they counted. 5 or 6 drops. So they're not open. They're dropping passes when they are open. The offensive line, especially at right tackle, they always say this on Locked On Browns, right? Pete Smith and Jeff Lloyd always say that on the offensive line, you play find the turd and you exploit them. Well, it's easy to find the turd on the Browns offensive line and pass protection. Blake Kansas 64. He's just fine. It's just an average grade as a run blocker. A 25.4 in 50 snaps, 36 against the pass. Like, the thing about that is just like, it is this perfect storm. And people say, well, he needs to call better plays. I don't know what plays you think would work. The receivers don't get open. The line isn't blocking. The quarterback is wildly inconsistent at best. You have 2 players that are consistent. Your running backs. David Njoku has been relatively consistent, but the guy getting him the ball hasn't. And neither is the line that has to protect the guy getting him the ball for him to be able to get the ball. I think it's more on the supporting cast because they are amplifying Baker's mistakes. So when Baker makes a mistake, he's got to be more perfect when, in fact, right now, because he's hurt, he needs help. He needs elevated. He can't elevate their team. They are asking a banged up quarterback to elevate poor supporting casts outside of his running game to elevate the game. And he cannot do that. He just cannot do that right now in the state that he is in. Maybe he can never do it. I think he is fine if he was healthy. I really, really, really wish we were having a conversation. I really wish that he was having this year. If he was having this year and he was healthy, we could definitively say he's just not the guy. But because of the situation that we're in, we can't do that. I just don't think that's fair. And for me, I just think that, like, is he good? Is he playing good? No.
To your point, I looked it up. He's been sacked more times in 11 games this year than he was in 16 games of 2020 and 14 games of 2018. So not great. Not great. And he's on pace. So he's been sacked 29 times now. The most he's ever been sacked is 40 times. So he's like right there to be sacked the most he's ever been. Which I think would be more like, but he's only played 11 games. So we'll see. But yeah,
and he'll still only play 16 because he missed.
So not exactly ideal on that perspective.
Baltimore put 7, 8, 9 people in the box all day, and people were saying, "Why weren't you running the football?"
It's lunacy. Why would you run the ball into that?
They averaged less than 3 yards a carry. I get it. Stefanski's play calling was not perfect, but I had people say it's just this simple. Just run the ball. No. Did you see when they did try to run the ball? Listen, Baltimore lined up and said, "You can't beat us throwing the ball." And guess what? They couldn't. They sold out. I have never seen so many jerseys so tightly packed into a box so consistently as I did on Sunday night.
And so now, the biggest struggle of all of this to me is that, now you've seen this even with a putrid bottom tier pass defense that the Ravens have been. If they were able to do that, it's like, why can't all of the other Browns opponents do the same thing? And so that's when you really start. And I mean, maybe the Browns can run against them anyway because they're not as good of run stoppers as the Ravens are. I'm not sure. A lot of times I think that's been it, is that the Browns have been able to beat the odds even when they were stacking the box. But you're not going to do that against the Ravens. The Ravens are always good like that. So I guess we'll see kind of moving forward. I just have to hope. I have to hope that I'm still mad at them for not sitting Baker against Detroit. Case Keenum was just fine against Denver. I have no idea what they were doing.
He could have done what Baker did against Detroit. I promise you that.
Yeah, and so I'm just hoping that this bye week helps him get a little healthier, and so hopefully maybe he can make teams pay more often with his arm, because God, it's terrifying if he can't.
Right now, the receivers can't win in one-on-one coverage.
Yeah.
If you cannot win in one-on-one, then they're just going to put you in one-on-one, stack the box. The blueprint's there, guys. You just saw it. Pittsburgh did it. Arizona did it. Baltimore did it even better than they did. New England did it. 4 of your 6 losses, all they had to do was stack the box, and you couldn't do fucking shit against it. Blueprint's right there. We said that the blueprint to beat Lamar was made by the Dolphins, and we followed it. But guess what? Their blueprint to beat the Browns, it was even better. So I'm going to catch up on Twitter comments and on the YouTube comments, and I think I've said my piece about the offense. Yeah. Have you said your piece about the offense?
I think I have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've said our pieces about the offense and about the fact that right now it fucking stinks.
Yeah.
Is that where we're at? Is that where we're at?
My best outlook is please be healthier from a week break, and please.
That is literally the only solution I can think of is
that's all I got.
Maybe rest will make them play better. It's the only one. So let's dive in here. Mick, our good friend Mick, who paid up his bet to Roger. He paid up his bet like a man does, and I appreciate that. He says the Browns are 500, and so are the Cavs. All about expectations, which is kind of what I said at the time. I assume that's when we were talking about the differences. Kelly wants to know why Higgins never plays, considering he's Baker's comfort blanket. Baker is struggling, and then this ties into Tim's question. Higgins not playing for a special teams player. That is what I was told. Higgins, he hasn't been that great this year, but neither is Baker or his line. Like, it is so hard to follow anybody's stat line because the way the offense has just struggled from a quarterback consistency, like you could see somebody has this many targets and only this many catches, and you're like, well, but how many of those incompletions were even catchable? Yeah. Like, was it on the, you know what I mean? Like, so it's so hard right now. Yeah. Higgins is a really good route runner. I'm not sure what difference he would have made.
I just got to say, at some point, Rashard Higgins was in Freddie Kitchens' doghouse. He started the year last year buried, right? And now he's in Kevin Stefanski's doghouse again. Something
it makes you wonder.
It makes you want whatever, and obviously the production on the field, like when he's out there, has at least been better than
almost 600 yards in like half a season last year.
Yeah, and so I mean, you like to see that, but obviously something is going on, right? Because that has carried over through years and through coaches, right? So something's up there.
Let's catch up over here on the YouTubes. Let's try to get back here. Hunt should have been in the game more. I think he should. I think he would have. I think he will next. I think he was on a pitch count. Why doesn't Kevin Stefanski put Chubb and Hunt on the field together? I don't know, Charlie. That's the $1 million question I've been trying to answer on Twitter all day, and I have no answer. Baker is at his best when he's a gunslinger attacking downfield. Part of that is that the offensive line isn't allowing him at times to attack downfield, especially if they have an elite rusher that they can put over there on Blake Hands. I don't know why we did the Wildcat play with Landry. It was bad. I think the concept was fine. I just think nobody executed it. Literally nobody. Cancel Anime says, I watched a video today about Baker's improvising highlights from 2008. Holy shit, what happened to that guy?
Man, no.
Buddy, if I knew the answer to that question, I would not be in the profession that I'm in.
He was so aggressive, especially his rookie year, and then even his second year when it backfired on him. And that's just that's not funny. There right now. It's not.
Dude, no joke. So I got on Facebook today, and I always like to look at Facebook memories, right? At this time, 3 years ago, Baker had just won Rookie of the Week again.
Oh, man.
And I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Those were the days. Baker's Max says Baker's accuracy is his biggest upside, and injuries that are hindering that. I agree. Is Baker right now better than Case?
I don't know. I don't know. I thought Case obviously has a noodle arm right now. Like you saw that against
Absolutely.
Denver.
Yeah.
He definitely has a noodle arm. But I thought he was just fine versus Denver. I really did. And it's not like Denver's not
could have beat Baltimore
arrogant.
with the way their defense with the way our defense plays.
Oh, man. And speaking of that, I bet we have a nice little transition opportunity because Ed is feeling good. So
Ed is feeling good.
Maybe Ed has a little words of hope for us.
What you got for me, Ed?
Well, here's what I want to say. Because they call me the historian on the dog chug. And in 1988, after the Browns had lost the wild card game against the Oilers, then owner Art Modell took Marty Schottenheimer and basically said, you have to hire an offensive coordinator and also give him play calling duties. Marty Schottenheimer looked at Art Modell and said, go to hell. And then he went off to Kansas City. I know a lot has been talked about with Stefanski and the play calling and why doesn't Alex Van Pelt call plays? Maybe that would shake things up. Bill Belichick hired Steve Crosby in 1994 to call plays, and they ended up being 11-5. I think Stefanski probably needs to hand over those duties, if nothing else, for the fact that the Browns are penalized so much. 11 guys, call a timeout. 12 guys. That was the most ridiculous thing in the world, those penalties. The team is looking
12
like
guys before and after a timeout.
That is ridiculous. It's looking like Hugh Jackson. It's looking like Pat Shurmur.
Dude, they got an illegal formation on a kick return.
Yeah.
These are clown jokes. This is why we get made fun of, because of stuff like this. And Stefanski was supposed to turn this around and hold us accountable, and we're looking like a joke again. Like, I understand Baker's hurt. I understand the offense is going to be stagnant a little bit, but these penalties and everything, and the fact that we're not, disciplined, maybe it's too much on game day. Does Stefanski ever call up to the press box and say, hey, Chubb's only run the ball 7 or 8 times. Maybe we need to do something. I understand they were stacking the box, but some of these numbers are a little bit skewed so tremendously one way that I think that maybe Stefanski's biting off more than he can chew. And I think that it's obviously affecting us on game day. So I think putting that into perspective, I think Stefanski, he's having a sophomore slump. I know Baker's hurt, but there's things that he can do. He's not hurt. I don't think Stefanski has any kind of injury that I know of. I mean, I haven't heard of anything. So what is going on come game day? And he keeps talking about, I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better. We're not getting better. You're not calling better plays. What about more crossing routes? What about more screens? They're loading 9 in the box. Let them come to you, and then you drop it off over them to, I don't know, this guy named Kareem Hunt. He came back. He's pretty good at catching the ball out of the backfield, right? Oh, that would have, loosened up the Ravens defense a little bit. We're not doing things like that. That's basic element. That's Madden Stoner dude. I talk about Madden Stoner dude. The guy that's in the basement 4 a.m. getting 4th meal. He knows how to call plays better than Kevin Stefanski. And that's what a little bit disheartening. And that's got me on a rant right now. I'm tired of it. This Browns season it wouldn't have probably been what it was last year. We caught lightning in a bottle. But this team has too much talent to be 6-6. Bill Parcells always says you are what your record is. Well, we're 6-6, and that's crap.
I agree. I don't agree. I honestly do think that Kevin Stefanski is calling plays that are statistically he's favored in, and to me, that's what I think. I know that he's coming under fire. The Jarvis Landry play sucked, and like I get. Obviously the offense isn't working, so the head coach is going to take some of the blame there. But I just keep seeing clips of guys that end up open and the ball not being completed. And I just can't put that blame on Stefanski, but the penalties are a joke, man. I'm with you.
The penalties are on Stefanski. Here's the thing that I say about the play calling. The personnel are going to be the same. So I'm really not sure it would make that much of a difference. I don't think it would be worse if AVP was calling plays. I'm not saying that. I get what Ed's saying. It might not help the offense, but it might help the discipline and the execution.
Sure.
I could see that. I definitely see that aspect.
Well, here's my thing about that as well. Sometimes, look, if I'm the defense, if I'm Myles Garrett, if I'm Jadeveon Clowney, and I get 4 turnovers and I get 0 points off them, sometimes just changing who's calling the plays, sometimes changing the personnel. The 3 tight end crap needs to end. Hooper, I hung with Mr. Cooper. I don't want to hang with Austin Hooper. The guy can't catch. It's ridiculous. You know, if I'm the defense, it's disheartening. You go out there, you bust your ass, you risk your life. You risk your life for 0 points because you know your offense is going to score. If we don't pick it off and take it for a pick 6, I don't have any faith that we're going to actually turn that turnover and turn it into points. And that's very disheartening. And I think they played their asses off. And as a fan, that's so frustrating. So I think my thing is change to change, because why not? We're scoring averaging 12 points a game. So why not? It couldn't hurt.
since the chart.
It couldn't hurt. That and you know what? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But I think and another thing too, like if I'm the owner, Jimmy Haslam, I'm glad he's not like Art Modell. I'm glad that he's not a meddling owner like Dan Schneider and everything. But at the same time, when my coach comes out there every single week and says, I need to do better, I need to be better, I need to be better, but I'm not seeing better results. If this was a company, Nick, if this is a company, Jacob, and you own this, would you say, you know what? You got to say something else. I actually need a reason. I need so, and I'm so sick. Like you said, Dick, we're not dumb. We're not blind. We see Baker limping. And to your point, Jacob, I saw that thing with Lamar Jackson. They're talking about how's your mom. One thing about Lamar, it's hard to hate the guy because he is such a good guy. But Baker was he was limping. I wanted to give him a crutch to stand on. It was ridiculous. And if Stefanski can't see that, you're the head coach. You know your personnel. You know these guys aren't producing. But at the same time, you can't see that your field general, the guy's supposed to lead you out there to victory, is limping. He's fine. Best he's been all year. Best he's ever been. I buy into it every week. Must be better.
I do too. Yeah.
Guy can't walk. Dude can't walk.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't. That's one of the biggest mysteries to me. The 2 biggest mysteries are they're insistent that this dude is healthy when he's clearly not, and their resistance to play one of the highest paid backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Why? What did you pay him for then? What did you pay him for? I need to know.
Coach, I guess. Ed, we will check back in with you here in a little bit, because we are going to start transitioning into some fun, lighthearted stuff, and we'll need your help with that.
Because you mentioned the defense.
Let's go to the defense. Let's fuck this. I'm done. Watch this. Switching gears. Are you ready? You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about a guy that's taken some shit from me this year. A guy that I like a lot, in the highest graded player on the Cleveland Browns defense that was spectacular. Who, you want to take a wild guess at that, Nick? Who was the highest graded? This might be cheating because I think I told you already.
I saw it already. Well, you said it, and I also saw it. So sorry.
Grant Delpit was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Grant Delpit. I'm going to put a tweet out and talk about him a little bit more tomorrow. I think I'm going to put out there. Grant Delpit was, let me see if I can find it. So Grant Delpit was targeted one time, and that was an interception. Like what kind of, like, we always talk about DB play and like targets because like, you're like, well, did he really play that well? They only threw at him one time. Well, it probably only had a 90.5 coverage grade. And the place that he has struggled so mightily this year was tackling at a 78.5 and 0 missed tackles in this game. That is enormous growth. Oh, side note, Ryan says that was the best game from the defense ever had. Yes, absolutely. And that's what we're getting into right now.
Because it's against Lamar, who was
better than the Bears, which is what Ryan is talking about.
Yeah. And even with their offensive line struggles, they've had insane comebacks, insane offensive explosions all year long against teams. And the Browns held them to 16 points. And really, outside of a couple superhuman plays like that toss, even though it was passing interference, that toss to Mark Andrews,
who he still caught.
Yeah, I mean, which won me my fantasy matchup, by the way. Shout out to AJ, loser. Anyway,
yeah,
he was talking so much shit to loser. Mark Andrews outscored Nick Chubb, and he was not. It was Mark Andrews versus Nick Chubb on Sunday Night Football, and yeah, that's, I can't believe. But anyway, aside from a few heroic plays by Lamar Jackson, I have to give the guy his credit. I mean, they bottled him up all game long, and the Browns have never done that against Lamar. Never. Lamar has killed them every single game There was the one game where the Browns did beat him, but that was on the back of Nick Chubb, and it's not like the Ravens didn't score in that game. Like
17 carries for Lamar, 68 yards.
I would be shocked. If the Lamar Jackson Baltimore Ravens have ever scored less against the Browns since he has been playing against. I would be shocked. That's got to be the lowest.
The problem, I would say so. Grant Delpit, like I said, Grant Delpit was phenomenal. He was reactive. He was instinctual. He wrapped up. He was fast. He looked, man. You know what? Like he looked like that athlete. Like he looks like the Achilles is finally stopping to impair. People talk about this, that the Achilles, it could be 2 years. Like you'll come back after a year, but it could be 2 years before you're truly back from an Achilles tear.
And people said he might not ever be the same, or he might not ever make it because that's like a death injury.
He's not even 18 months right now, right? Like removed. I think it happened in July of last year. So he's at he's at 16 months, 16, 17 months.
Yeah.
So like he's not even at a year and a half right now. It looked to me like a guy that is starting to get it. He's starting to get his legs back under me. And oh my God, am I excited? Because I loved that pick. And I've been just so greatly disappointed with the way he has played this year. That brings me to my second guy. One, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. We spend all offseason either arguing or agreeing with each other that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was the Lamar stopper. He was this guy that was going to shut Lamar down. Like nobody shuts Lamar down single-handedly, but he was going to be the cog to do it, right? Him and guys like Ronnie Harrison, who played a lot better with an 86.2 tackling grade. Thank you, Ronnie Harrison. Although you had a 45.1 coverage grade. That was
well.
They all can't be winners, Nick. They all can't be winners.
Yes, I was correct. It says 16 is the lowest the Lamar Ravens have ever scored against the Browns. Thank you, Ed. Producer Ed. Free Ed.
Thank you, Ed. Roger says that Benedict Ed had some good points, but Andy would have cut him off in the middle of his rant, which is true. I've seen him cut Ed off many a time on the dog chug.
Hi, Roger.
So Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, man, 90.7 in the run. He had a 90.7 in the run. He had, oh my God, he had 9 stop tackles.
It's amazing.
Do you realize that? And so I've explained this before. A stop tackle is when a tackle is made that it constitutes a negative play for the offense. So if it is third down and you stop them short, that's a stop tackle. If first down, you get them for less than 4 yards, a stop tackle is a negative play that puts them behind, right? Like if you get 3, 3, and 3, you don't get a first down. So 3 yards on first down is a stop tackle. If it's 3rd and 7 and you only get 3, which is not 50% of what you needed, it's a stop tackle, right? So it's these plays that constitute a negative play. He had 9 fucking stop tackles. Wow. He had 9 stop tackles, 10 tackles, 2 assists, 2 targets, 8 yards. They caught both targets, but it was for 8 yards. He had 3 quarterback pressures, a sack. Like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, that was like, if the dude's not hurt, if he wasn't hurt, he would be Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I don't care what anybody says.
People lit me up for saying that, right? Because the Dallas Cowboy,
Trevon Diggs.
Trevon Diggs. I didn't want to get his name wrong. Thank you.
He's really good. Trevon Diggs is good.
But JOK would be right there with him if he hadn't gotten hurt. And I will not hear any slander.
He's like 100% going to win. But yeah, they would be like this, neck and neck.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. They'd be right there with each other. And I want to take this. Good. I want to expand on this a little bit because to me, we're starting to see evidence of. So you mentioned Grant Delpit, you mentioned JOK. And so then we've already talked a lot about Greg Newsome. And then on top of that, we've mentioned a little bit of Jedrick Wills. And so to me, when you're starting to look at our GM and evaluate him, right, Andrew Berry has hit on both of his first-round picks and both of his second-round picks. I think we have enough evidence to say that now. And those are the tee-up picks that somehow the Browns missed on for forever. And teams still do every year, right? He's 4 for 4. in the first and second round so far.
I think Grant Delpit needs a little bit more time, but I get what you're saying.
He's showing potential.
Yeah, he's showing why he was a second round pick and why it was a good decision to make him a second round pick.
So I get it on Delpit that you could say he still needs more time, but it's starting to look, at least to me, like you hit on both first and both second round picks that you've had so far, and that is unbelievably promising.
And I think Jed's still fighting injury because he struggled a little bit this week, but last week he had a hell of a game.
I'm not saying Wills is incredible
but he's not a bust.
Best. He's not a bust, and that's you have to hit on those guys because especially those are your fifth year options, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the most valuable things in the NFL. So hitting on those guys is just, oh boy, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about what. And Andrew Berry hasn't been perfect. We talked about Austin Hooper, but man, and you know what, Jack Conklin, All Pro last year. It's not.
Guys, I am sick over this Jack Conklin.
It's such a loss. It's such a loss.
I saw people say there's legitimate belief that injuries like this end careers.
Oh, God.
And not just for the Browns' sake. It makes me sick for Jack's sake.
Mm-hmm.
The dude, all he does is work his ass off. And it's just,
he's walking off the field and all of a sudden he goes, whoop. And I was like, oh, that is not.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
I'm laughing,
I know. But I was like, oh, he's fine. He'll be all right. I thought, oh, he's not going to play necessarily. And then, and I just went, oh no. Like have you ever heard that song? They go, oh no, oh no, oh no. I'll find it. Hold on.
Please do. And I just, as you find that, I just want to keep going with the defense. We all said, give him time. And, I need to apologize to Joe Woods because all of a sudden the defense is playing fantastically. I think even in my highest expectations, I didn't see a Browns defense able to limit the Ravens as much as they did. Yeah, they gave up a couple of bad big plays to tight ends. All Browns defenses seem to. It's like their Achilles heel for whatever reason. Tight ends just feast on them. But any game that you limit your opponent to 16 points and you force 4 turnovers, any game you should win. Right, that was like the first time. I don't want to get the stat wrong, but it's like teams were an absurd X wins and 0 losses when their quarterback threw 4 interceptions. And the Browns.
The last one to win and do it was Andy Dalton in 2013.
So say whatever you want about the Browns giving up that play to Mark Andrews. The defense literally handed the Browns a win on a silver platter, and the offense was like, nah, I'm not interested in that.
Hey, Jess wanted to know if I was going to get close to the camera and whisper something, so I'm going to do it right now. Joe Woods coached his fucking ass off. And okay, so Jack Conklin's walking off, and I'm like, oh, he's fine. Then all of a sudden, I see him fall over, and this is what happened. Yeah, that song. I instantly was like, oh, fuck. Seriously, I am sick. But yeah, fuck, Joe Woods coached his ass off.
Yeah, I got to apologize to the guy. I do.
I do too. I called John Johnson out. I said he was going to be key. I said, man, you've struggled and you're going to be key in this game. And then he played his fucking ass off.
Yeah.
Played his ass off.
We all did. Jadeveon Clowney, man. That guy deserves the president.
That guy deserved 4 sacks. Like he deserved 4 sacks and he had none. I was like, no.
That continues to be the Clowney move. I mean, he's played every game. Has he played every game? He might have played it.
No, he missed a game. He's missed a game.
Sorry, he missed the game. But everyone's like, he'll play 3 games and have 2 sacks and blah, blah, blah. He's been
playing injured too. Like I think he's going to be a lot better in 2 weeks. Like I think he's going to.
He's been so good for the Browns. I hope they extend him. I really do. He has earned it. I don't know if they can afford him. I don't know what they're going to do financially because we get to yet another guy who now healthy. Denzel Ward is just out there.
Fuck yes. Amazing. Oh my God. Pay that man right now.
I think you have to. I think he's forcing you to pay him at this point.
Troy Hill, 14 snaps, played really good for a dude that I thought couldn't walk anymore. Seriously, like that's not even, that was like 2 weeks ago. The dude had to be taken off on a freaking stretcher and immobilized, and he was just out there just being like, nope. Let me tell you, Troy Hill, they targeted Troy Hill. No, they didn't even throw at him. He only played 14 snaps.
That's awesome.
10 coverage snaps.
So I looked it up, and Jadeveon Clowney, his sack numbers are low, right? Yeah. So I mean, they are, but oh my, Lamar's a magician. That was
5 pressures, 4 hurries, 1 hit.
That's crazy. That's crazy good. I don't care if they didn't. Well, I mean, you want him to
for your second guy,
but yeah,
I just Miles together with 10 pressures.
That's man, and they just and
what you want out of your bookends, man. It's what you want out of your bookends.
Clowney was having himself a game. He deserves so much more.
When he threw his helmet off, I've never sympathized with a player more than when you can see he was just so fucking pissed. He's like, "Oh god damn it!" He threw his helmet down. I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I get it. Even if he would have been penalized, for taking his helmet off, because I know you can get in trouble for that or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, man, like take the flag, man. I don't even know what you want me to do at this point."
I'll tell you what. I really think, you know what, and it's so encouraging too, because it's like
most of these guys are young. So even if this year is lost, let's say that it's doomsday this year is lost, because right now I don't see him winning the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. That's where I'm at. But let's say this year is lost. Grant Delpit, what is he, 22? JOK is like 21. Newsom's like 21.
Ward's still young.
Ward's young. John Johnson's young.
Even Myles Garrett's not old.
Myles Garrett's not old. Tack McKinley's still young.
Yeah. Greedy
is young. And Greedy's playing good again, 14 snaps. They didn't target him as well.
And I
Paul
know
Johnson's interception was phenomenal.
I'll tell you what, if they keep forcing turnovers like that, they're not always they're gonna house one of those, right? Like the defense it played well enough to the point where I'm like, and and you think about the Cincinnati game, it's like you start to think it's like this defense could carry the Browns to some wins. Like they legitimately could.
This was the kind of defensive effort that made me believe if we had to play Case Keenum, we could win. We had to have defensive efforts like that.
Yeah.
It just shows right now, they just need average quarterback play. Average quarterback play and average wide receiver play, and they're getting sub-average right now from both. They get average play from both of those, and that defense keeps playing like this.
Yeah.
Boy howdy, as I say from time to time.
Boy howdy.
People love to laugh when I say boy howdy.
I need it. You know what? Personally, this is very selfish of me, but just need Baker to show like signs of life moving forward, because man, if we have to,
especially after getting some rest.
God, if we have to spend the whole offseason talking quarter, I can't do it again.
I don't know that I can do it.
I can't.
He either needs to blow us out of the water or just suck so bad that we have to move on. Which I know is not going to happen because of the 5th-year option, but it's like, I just can't, man. I can't. I'm with you. I can't.
Dude,
all right. Final football thoughts before jokes and fun.
Okay.
Ooh, we'll bring producer Ed in here as well so that he can do his final thoughts.
Oh, I like Ed's final thoughts. What you got, Ed?
Well, we've done a great job, you two, especially summarizing what's going on and what the problems are. I think that, watching the league this past weekend, Tannehill is horrible. Russell Wilson looks horrible.
Been a lot of bad quarterback play this year.
I've seen Baker Mayfield when he's healthy, and the problem is he's just not healthy, so it's hard to get, a full, evaluation of him. But I think, guys, going into next year with everything, if Baker's healthy and just like he was before he got hurt, he was balling out, guys. When he came in for that one series in Atlanta in the preseason game, he marched down those series, a couple possessions he had, and even the Kansas City game. Yes, he didn't come through in the clutch in the final 2 minutes or whatever, but I think that the best option is still Baker Mayfield, people. And I get mad at them and I say things, and because we're Browns fans and being a fanatic, that's part of what goes with it. But I mean, look, the viable option is still Baker Mayfield. And, if we're going to, move on from him, I am glad that he can move down to progressive field, if he gets evicted from First Energy Stadium. So there is a place for Baker, but I think the place for him is under center, and I think that he is our best option. I think that we need to upgrade the wide receiver position, and let's roll. And I don't think this was a lost season, because no seasons are lost if you're getting development. This defense, if Joe Woods, if in final 5 games, guys, if the defense can perform like it did Sunday night in Baltimore, we really got something. We got something. This was not a wasted year. If the defense can fix itself, I'm not going to call. I mean, yes, our expectations. We didn't ultimately win the prize. There's only one team that does, but I think that I'm feeling really good about the next season, and let's roll, guys. So that's about all I got on football.
I think that's what we were trying to focus on tonight.
Yeah,
was there's still reasons to think that this thing is getting turned around.
It's like the Indians/Guardians last year when the pitching went down. There was still a lot to play for down the home stretch. You got to see position players play. Our outfield, look at Slim Shady, Zimmer. There's guys that kind of hey man, there's some good players on this team, and going forward we might have something here. And I think it's the same with the Browns, and and I think Newsome with Denzel Ward, that's lockdown right there. That going forward for the next 5 to 7 years, that's all pro. That's something that we haven't had since Minifield and Hanford Dixon and Felix Wright. There's a lot, and look at even with JOK, we finally got a dominant linebacker, guys. There's a lot, and I think that looking back at it, it's easy to be all frustrated and mad, and of course, not winning, I get that, but when you actually look at from like in Andrew Barry, kind of an analytical kind of standpoint of this team and evaluating this roster got really good, and now they're starting to perform in key areas that I never thought the defense was going to be good again. Did you guys, when we're giving up 40-some points, and Nick, you went out to LA and saw us against the Chargers, man, that defense looked horrible, and the missed assignments, the guy was wide open, but then you saw them Sunday in Baltimore. They looked pretty damn good now, didn't they? So there's a lot of things to be positive.
Are gone. They fixed the mental mistakes.
Yeah.
So Cancel Anime says, I don't care what anybody says, Baker was playing great football before his injury. He was.
Yeah, he did. He was. Great thoughts, Ed. I really appreciate.
I don't think I've got anything else after that, though. I think Ed just capitalized.
You guys did a great job during the show, and I'm just kind of keying off on those ports. So yes, we're a great team, guys. So that's what we do. The Browns. The Browns are going to be great. We're great. Hey, fans, Merry Christmas, guys. It's fun to see also too with some of these young. Oh, beautiful.
I've got a second tree, and it's going to have some Browns ornaments up, and then it'll be up for next week's show.
Awesome. Nice. And then, hey, Cleveland, hey, we got a football team, and I brought up something on Twitter. Losing to Baltimore always hurts, but nothing will ever hurt like November 6, 1995, when the governor of the state of Maryland said, the Browns are coming to Baltimore. No, they're not, sucker. No, they're not. And they're going to kick your ass. Not this week, but the week following, because the Browns, man, we're gonna take them, and we're gonna do some good things. And I don't know what's gonna happen if we make the playoffs or whatever the case may be. But there's a lot to look and what going forward and watch. And I love this team. I love the Cleveland Browns. And Baker Mayfield's my quarterback. I'm gonna ride with 6. But you know what? I always ride with the Cleveland Browns because that's where my heart's at, and they're our team. And we can be mad at them. And Browns Twitter, please don't go to war with each other. We all want the same goal. We all want to win.
Unacceptable stuff on Twitter, man. People need to be better. That's all I can say about the shit I'm seeing on Twitter. Guys, it's Christmas time. And I have Christmas jokes.
But wait.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just want to say 2 things.
Okay.
Number 1, Jacob Phillips is rumored to be coming back soon.
Jacob Phillips is my dude. He's my dude.
That's exciting. That's exciting. Hey, more linebackers.
Anthony Walker, and I'll die on that hill.
Let's see what he's got. I hope he comes back. Man, I hope he comes back. That would be fun. I would love, especially moving into year 3 of him. It's like we need to see something of him to
just get because the last time we saw him, he was flying all over the field against Pittsburgh in week 17, and it was like that was what you envisioned. If that Jacob Phillips lines up next to 28.
Yeah, I know. That'd be. I mean, and so it just slated to be your starter, right?
I thought he was going to lead the team in tackles.
Yeah. So Jacob Phillips coming back. And not even I want to hear this. Not even I want to. But if you beat the Ravens next week, 2 weeks from now, then all of a sudden you're like, well, here we are
Hey,
again.
let's do this. Let's
Oh,
go.
God. I don't even want to think about it.
You got
I
the
don't.
Ravens,
I'm so
and
exhausted.
then you got back-to-back Saturday games. The Raiders, the Packers. If you can win here, if you somehow win all 3 of these and you go up to fucking Monday Night Football against the Steelers and home against the Bengals, like they have got to win 4 games to make the playoffs. They do. They have got to win 4.
They play Baltimore and then
Baltimore and then the Raiders on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
And then they go to Lambeau on Christmas.
Oh boy.
And then they got to go to Pittsburgh on Monday night, January 3rd. Then they're back home.
I mean, that's brutal, right? That's brutal. But if you can beat Baltimore, you've already beat Cincinnati.
Can we get some Cincinnati offense to go with the Baltimore defense? Because holy fuck me,
man, please. I just need so, and I know, not even I want to hear it. But if you just find a way to beat Baltimore, then here we are again. We're all excited. So that's my final football.
Just win, baby. Just win. Hey, what do you call a bankrupt Santa? Saint Nicholas. That was a good one. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Okay. So what do Santa's little helpers learn at school? The alphabet. Hey, do you know what is it? What I got 2 more. What's the most popular Christmas wine? I don't like Brussels sprouts. I was whining, Nick.
Wine. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a delayed hit right there. That's a delayed hit.
I'm tired, man. I've been up a long time. Sorry.
How did the ornament get addicted to Christmas? He was hooked on trees his whole life. Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
Okay. What do we tune into the Barking Browns show for? I don't fucking know.
Hey.
Okay, I got one. Let me see if I can find it. I had it here pulled up, and it's a fun little.
I gotta say, Roger, go blue. I'm gonna, as an Ohio State Buckeye, it was a tough loss, but I sang the fight song on Twitter, and Roger, you deserve your victory lap for a year now. So go blue, and you know what? Go represent the Big Ten. Don't blow it against Iowa, because you're our only hope for a Big Ten national championship. So don't do something stupid, Jim Harbaugh, and say, oh, just because you beat Ohio State that this is your season. You still got some work to do, and I know this isn't popular amongst Ohio State fans, but hey, I'm with you. If you can go out and win the Natty, go do it. And I know Ross is, that'd be nice to see Michigan versus Cincinnati in the Natty.
Ooh. I like chaos. I hope Iowa wins.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
Notre Dame, Brian Kelly-less in the
Notre Dame somehow with listen,
please.
I don't even want to get into that bullshit.
I like chaos too.
Shit, that Brian Kelly shit and the Lincoln Riley shit. It pisses it pisses me.
Yeah.
All right. Here's your scenario of the week. You're homeless. All right. And only have one choice of clothing. You can have a tattered, oversized white shirt with very thin fabric and lots of holes in it, or an extremely tight, flesh-collared set of underwear. What'll it be?
So, as a kid, one of my favorite things to do ever was take my legs and put them in front and have the shirt cover them. I don't know why I was obsessed with that as a kid. And I would stretch out all my pajama shirts doing that. And so give me that oversized shirt. I'll just take this and let's just make it all stretchy. That sounds fun because I can make a little tent. I can keep my warmth.
You can pull it down so it covers the naughty bits.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. I don't know. I could
I'm wearing underwear. No, I'm not wearing underwear. I am so body conscious and I don't even like to wear I could when I was younger, I wear usually my shirts are loose-ish fitting now in my everyday life. let alone if it was the only thing I could wear. Yeah, give me the tattered shirt. If you get a little glimpse looking in the holes, then don't fucking look in the holes, weirdo.
Here it comes.
I'm rocking the underwear, and here's why.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I'm gonna shake it for some dollars, and I'm not gonna be homeless. And Ed in Columbus to the stage. Please be generous with the tips. Oh yeah.
He's homeless.
He's homeless. He wants an address that you can
Guys,
own.
That is the goodest place. The best goodest.
The best
Goodest place I can think of to end our therapy episode. So Nick,
hey, quick shout out to Zabo Apparel. You guys, we have our next shirt giveaway coming up, and they just keep being awesome and sending awesome shirts. So can't wait to do that. Keep in mind, our wonderful people, our Patreon people, our patron people, is our next giveaway is coming, and also we are working on a new subscriber goal for YouTube. I'm sure we'll figure that out and tell you guys.
I think it's 500.
500? We're saying 500.
500. Don't forget tomorrow night at 10 p.m. to check out the dog chug with our friends Andy Manchin at Catalina Manch Mixer and Roger First in Cuyahoga Falls. I'm sure he won't be doing any victory laps or anything.
What? and listen, to anyone that is a mutual listener of both of our shows, don't let them be mean to Ed. Ed deserves the best.
Don't let them be mean.
Don't let them be mean. Ed deserves all the wonderful things that there ever was. And so let's keep that in mind. I can't wait to do our mashup. We're a week away. That's going to be great. Thank you all for being here. I certainly feel better. I think we all feel better. I love the little mashup we've got going here. This is great. So I don't even know. Every week I say I don't know where all the time went. This has been the 32nd episode of the Barking Brown Show, and we feel great. Ed's dancing, Jacob's doing fun things. We're all dancing, and it's going to be okay. We got a nice little break. I'm going to enjoy the break. Hope you all enjoy the break. Go Browns.
Go Browns!